Welcome to the New Heights Show on Education. I'm Pamela Clark, founder and director of the New Heights Educational Group, and I'm here with David Smith, the founder of Silicon Valley High School, who has helped us get these podcasts produced and delivered to you.
Yes, Pamela, when we saw the great things that you and your army of volunteers were achieving at New Heights, we wanted to get involved. We're happy to work with you to leverage the internet and make quality education accessible and affordable to everyone, everywhere.
Thank you, David. We appreciate Silicon Valley High School helping us to get these podcasts out to the hundreds of thousands of listeners from all over the world. So I hope you enjoy the show.
In this week's episode, we will discuss education reform on mission.
Hello, everyone. This is Danielle Washington coming to you live from Ms. Buffy Williams' office. Just sitting around thinking about life and trying to become better people tonight. So check us out. Welcome back. You're on the air with Buffy Williams, and you have been listening to the new
Wet Paint by Wendy and Jill Steinbach of Hip Hop Health Programs, along with our advisory group member, Hamsachu, and our founder and executive director, Pamela Clark. So join us in the conversation. Call us at 917-948-7542 or drop your comments in the chat or tag us on social media using the hashtag NHEG or post your comments on Twitter at Buffy_Awaken or on Spreaker, Instagram, or YouTube. Remember, my New Heights host Erica Hansen's show airs on Thursdays at 2 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, everyone. I wanted to start off tonight's show by giving everyone an opportunity to give a brief intro to our audience, and we're going to start with Wendy, since she's our newest partner. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Buffy. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
So just to, have a brief introduction, my name is Wendy, and yes, my tiny little business is called Wet Paint by Wendy, which sounds a bit artsy, and that's what I do. Some kind of what I call functional art. That's with a bit of an abstract flavor, actually.
Yeah.
And I like to say it's abstract art that anyone can enjoy because it's not too crazy. It's just not as traditional as cats, dogs, flowers, barns,
Right.
things like that, although I do paint that as well. I mainly with acrylic, but also with resin, and I use a whole variety of techniques, which there's a lot of experimentation in there, trying to see what new happens, pushing boundaries as well as developing more skills. And I just see it as a bit of a metaphor for life, because even what we prepare for in the end, sometimes the results are a little different than what we expect.
Right.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
I do things as small as magnets to coasters, cheese boards, things like that, and even on vinyl records, I make clocks and wine bottle holders. So
That's pretty interesting. I definitely want to see how you do that. That's awesome. So Jill, I'll let you go next, and then that'll kind of intro Vanessa in on the conversation.
Perfect. So my name's Jill Steinbach. I'm Executive Director of Shape Up Us. Our mission is building a healthier future for children, families, and communities. And we're here today because we created a K through 6th grade social, emotional, whole child wellness curriculum / resources that I know your audience will love.
Yeah.
So thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jill. So hi, I'm Vanessa. I've been with Jill for about a year now, and I'm also a homeschool mom, and I've been homeschooling for about moving into our 2nd year now. And we've incorporated Jill's curriculum into our home and use it in everyday life. So I just want to be able to share that with your audience and how you can use the program and the techniques every day.
Wonderful. Hamsachu?
everybody.
Hi.
My name is Hamza. I'm a member of the Adult Advisory Group with NHEG. I'm from Nigeria. Sorry, I'm so a bit shy, but I'm building confidence each time I do this.
That's okay.
So
We're
I was a
glad to
teacher.
have
I
you
was
here.
a teacher for 3 years. I taught primary school, which you will call elementary school there. I taught them for 3 years, and I've been trying to go back into the education system for a while now.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. And our executive director and founder, Pamela.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm such a fan of both of our new partners and of Wendy's art. I met Wendy in an entrepreneur group, and I just fell in love with her art. She knows that. I'm a big fan, and she's got 5-star ratings across the board. She's just so fantastic and just cutting it. I just love her art. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited, it's our partnership with the hip hop group, and we're physical education on our website now, because we haven't had that yet. We haven't had, other than brain gym exercises, which we've always advocated that people do if they have children with special needs, or just that's interested in the kinesthetic learning, that they use the brain gym exercises. But the Hip Hop Healthy Heart program, that's another, it's a new program that can even go coincide with that, so people can still do brain gym and still use the other new resource as well. So we're always trying to grow what we offer and make sure that everybody has the same, opportunities across the board. And to have a physical education program on our site is part of that growth. So, yeah, thankful.
Yeah, thank you all so much. And that's a good point. The reason why we're talking about updating curriculum is because we know that revamping education reform has been a hot topic across the globe. And everyone's searching to find the best solution for our education systems. And we know that a lot of people have gone to homeschooling their children. And one of the reasons why New Heights exists is because they provide this plethora of, resources and information in one place, so that parents don't have to research multiple locations. And so Pamela has done a great thing with New Heights and introducing all of these alternative, I will say, models to updating curriculum within the family. So with that said, I want to talk a little bit more about Wet Paint with Wendy and kind of how parents can kind of integrate that, Wendy, and tell us more about what it is that you do that parents could probably integrate that into their curriculum at home.
Well, there were a few points I was thinking of just briefly touching on before going into how you can incorporate kind of a new form of art. Some people have heard of acrylic pour painting.
Yes.
New, but it's a form of abstract, and it's easy, and there's no right or wrong, and it's can be utilized by many different ages. And I kind of wanted to go over a couple of things.
Sure.
Like the importance of art education, where it's a whole brain activity, increases self-esteem, decreases stress, and we don't have to get into a bunch of that, but just I'm not trained by art. In fact, my last art class was grade 8 many years ago, and I pursued sciences through the years. And long story short, I am now back into the art and enjoying it thoroughly. And it was interesting doing a little bit of research on it. Just certainly art is important with creativity, if that's obvious, and inventiveness. But also things like motor skills and visual learning. There's decision-making skills. There's focus and discipline. And they can carry on to many subjects, perseverance and just building confidence,
right.
self-esteem with the sense of accomplishment. So it being the interesting thing with a whole brain activity, whole brain activity, I guess, with art is usually we always think of left brain, right brain.
Right.
And art being we're using our right brain, and they find that no, it's actually a whole brain. You use both. It actually is not just a right brain activity. It needs both sides to communicate with each other for results to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, even some of the greatest minds like Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, they were both analytical and creative. So it shows you how you need both, really. For I think science really needs a lot of creativity and art has a lot of science in it.
I agree with you. Yeah.
The whole process of creating, not the final results, is what's important. So I think that is important for showing kids that it's not, you don't need to strive for perfectionism, especially if some people are very stressed by that. They don't know what to do. It is just a matter of the doing of it that's important. And the actually, art is actually helps in memory, even in serious brain disorders, because of helping with the two connections of the brain. So I thought that was quite fascinating. And even Einstein said, creativity is intelligence having fun. And I thought, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And certainly, should I just keep blabbing on?
No, you're fine. We're all intrigued by it.
Should I
yes,
keep going? Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know if I should be stopping.
And others can chime in, as they want to. But we're intrigued by your background history on the arts and education. We definitely are, and I know our listeners are definitely interested. Yes.
Oh, sure. Well, I'll just keep going on a little bit here then. I wanted to say yes. It is interesting how it increases self-esteem. And again, it goes into sciences finding out how art is increasing self-esteem. So it actually increases our sense of accomplishment, increases our neurotransmitter dopamine. So that's our feel-good chemical in our body, and some people call it a motivational molecule. So it is actually, when we get a dose of that with something positive in our lives, it increases our drive for things, increases our focus, increases our concentration, and this dopamine, the feel-good chemical that gets produced, is basically helps create new neurons and prepares your brain for learning, which again, that's what schooling is all about. You're trying to learn, but sometimes it can be a little difficult for some, and this is actually beneficial in that.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, Vanessa, do you incorporate art education within your curriculum? And Hamsachu, have you seen any increase in art education in your area? Either of you?
Art education in Nigeria is usually made up of carving, mostly wood, modeling and pottery, and decoration of calabashes, and also making figurines. Painting is not very practiced, or will I say not incorporated in the Nigerian curriculum. This is usually you do it on your own. Let's say you go and have your own practice. Somebody will teach you.
Yes.
But it's not actually a part of the education curriculum in the school.
Okay.
But if we do have painters, but usually they're like a vocational type, not part of the education curriculum.
Right. Okay.
And I think with art, it can incorporate many things.
Yes.
So, knitting to, carving to whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's certainly not specifically paint, although that's more what I do. And they even, it said that whenever we, it can even be music. Whenever we get immersed into these things and are focused on it, it pushes away our worry, and that's where the stress relief comes in. So,
that's what you found, Vanessa? Have you found that to be true?
Yes.
As a homeschool mom?
Wendy touched on like almost everything I wanted to touch on in regards to the hip hop program, because in here you're trying to have your child not learn the right answer, but to help analyze the situation and examine it for different alternatives. So it's the almost kind of really what you said. Now, in regards to how I put art in my class, I really like that you actually said, and it's a good pointer to myself, because I usually put the fun stuff towards the end of class, like towards the end of the day or on a Friday when it's like a free day. But I really like the suggestion that I want to actually move art into the beginning of class and do that. I think that
stimulate the brain, right?
Yeah, and I normally start off with me and my daughter. We usually start off with like music and a song and dance around and try to set the mood with a positive manner like that. But I think art, I never really knew that much, and how art really is like the whole brain, So I think that's something I'm going to add in and switch around in my order of events when I do my classes.
Thank you for that. And Jill, I know that you'll probably have to leave us in a little bit, so I want to let Jill come in here. So with your hip hop health and heart education program, as it relates to a different type of curriculum, how have you found Jill, that has been impactful for the homeschool mom or the homeschool era?
So just to tie in, we bring art, music, and physical education and mindfulness back into the homes and into the lessons in every lesson that we do, because it does set that aura around the child of peace, at the same time a fun way to learn. And that's what we want. We want the situation to be fun. So in all 8 of our modules, and we have 4 to 7 units in each module, and each one has 3 lessons, and each lesson has 3 activities. There is something that has to do with art, music, and physical education, mindfulness, and critical thinking, so that they can use their brains to the best ability. One other thing we do in our program, which is so neat, is we teach kids in all 5 senses. So they learn the way that they need to learn, whether is it hands-on, is it the music they need, is it, how is it they've got to see the picture, feel it. I'm a hands-on learner, so I think that's so important. But then another student might learn through the music that we teach.
Right. So
and
important.
So I think all above is so important. And Vanessa takes that into the home, which is so great with all of the lessons. And it's all a la carte, which is also really neat. So it's not any set order. If you're studying something in English, for example, in our nutrition, you have to write a letter to a homeless and offer to bring in some food, but you have to learn how to write the letter.
Right.
Yet at the same time, you're learning about the food. So, and Vanessa, you might be able to give another example of a fun activity that you love with your daughter.
Well, okay, one thing I did recently with her is we did in Module 2, Take Down Pressure, it talks about feeling cards, and what I'm trying to, for her, I'm trying to build up her self-esteem and her confidence and, her resilience, and with these feeling cards, we're able to write down a feeling that we want to feel more of. So we want to feel more joyful. Right. And sometimes when we're really angry and upset, we don't remember, she doesn't remember, how to get back to that happy place without causing some sort of problem. So with our caring cards or feeling cards, we wrote down we want to feel more joyful, and on the back are some tips that we can try to remember when we're upset. So we'll flash through the cards and, look on the back of how to feel joyful, and we'll do that and help us feel better. So that's an activity in Module 2 of Take Down Pressure. And it's so funny that we're talking about this, because I just picked that module to talk about because meditation, breathing is like kind of what I'm about. And that's what this whole module is, and it's like kind of right with what Wendy was talking about with her program as well. It's a great thing that we're all together talking about this, because it's the right time.
Definitely.
One thing I would like to say is each module has its own like song. So like Take Down the Pressure has its own song that you can download and play. Like we would go outside and jump rope, because that's also in her curriculum in the hip hop program. It has it where you do like activities, and one of those being jump rope. So we'll go out there, play the radio with the music, and we will literally take down the pressure. And it's fun. It's so fun.
That's great. It's great to hear from a mom, isn't it, Wendy, about how that can be integrated within their curriculum.
Those are brilliant ideas. And my kids have finished their schooling. They're in post-secondary schooling now. Yeah. But it's brilliant. So many ways to, I think it's just such a wholesome way of looking at learning, and it's so much more all-encompassing, and I wish I could use it when they were younger. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Pamela?
Yeah, it's very interesting because with the hip-hop program, you were talking about Einstein and things like this. Well, Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. So everybody kept going to nutrition and exercise. But that's only 2 aces of the puzzle of our whole child program. And yes, Vanessa's right. One of them was take down the pressure. One of them was about learning about your heart and your body.
Right.
But there's also financial. If you don't have the financial piece, nothing else fits in. And then the emotion, like Vanessa was saying, and learning what angry is and joyful and resilient, and how do we get back to that place. We are the first plant-based curriculum in nutrition, and the power of water and the power of minerals that has never been taught in classes, as well as sustainability. How do we give back to our earth and keep our earth healthy so that when our kids and we're not around, that earth is still here to be healthy?
Right.
All those are important. And then, of course, the last one is dental health, which ties into heart health. Not having most kids have a clue that plaque has to do with the heart, and if that breaks off, what happens?
Right.
So it's the tie-in of the whole child, and the cool thing about the program is we train the trainer, that mom at home that teaches the children, that teaches the community when we do our big health and wellness events. So it's a circle of wellness that becomes sustainable. And as I always say to everyone else, my kids know no different.
Right.
That's what we want of the world.
Yes, that's great. Pamela, you want to chime in here?
Sure. You could tell just by listening to these two new partners of ours why they're partners.
Yes, definitely.
They match very well with the beliefs of New Heights.
Yes.
And, there's so many things to speak on from what I've been listening to, but we've always been advocates for the kinesthetic learning style, and all of our tutoring sessions, whether they were in person or testing sessions, we even got special permission, like we're testers for the classic learning test, and we were I think the only testing site that had asked for permission for the kids to be able to bring their water. We've always tied water into learning, and I think that it's really interesting to hear them bring it up, because water is life.
Yes.
Life is water, and I've never understood why the public schools think that, the drinking fountains and occasional stop to get a drink is sufficient. I mean, they're not allowed to bring in water, probably because then they'd have to go to the bathroom more, but water is so important for learning, activating both sides of the brain. Most of the families that I've worked with, they have no idea about that.
Right.
I mean, they've really never thought of activating both sides of your brain and why that's important.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are kinesthetic learners, they don't know it. They don't even know what type of learner they are, because when you're in a traditional school setting, it's very, like one type of learning everybody's supposed to keep up, and it's not feasible. And that's why we need, education reform, and that's why we need to explore different ideas and different curriculums, and we really need to look into that more often as a whole. But it probably, unfortunately, won't happen. I mean, there's only a handful of traditional schools that would even take part in any type of what we're discussing. But there is the what's it called, the hands-on schools. What are they? I just lost it.
Was it the alternative, the new alternative one that they have, or the homebound education?
Well, no, they're like public schools, but they're
charter
hands-on
schools.
Learning.
Okay.
Montessori.
Oh, Montessori, yeah.
Schools.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been a big fan of Montessori.
Right. That's a great curriculum. So, Hamsachu, is physical education incorporated within the curriculum in Nigeria?
Yes, it is. It is incorporated within the curriculum in Nigeria. It's incorporated as sports like running, football, handball, and sometimes dancing too.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Dance. I would love dance. That would be great. I know Vanessa's already incorporated that into hers, so I kind of like that one. The dance curriculum.
I have a question for Hamasasu real quick.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, did they think of the right and left side of the brain and the kinesthetic learning in Nigeria? Do they do anything like that?
No, I wouldn't say that. Actually, it's the first time I'm hearing that.
Ah,
really?
Interesting.
Yeah,
very
it's the first
interesting.
time that I had to jot it down. And just to get to know about it, and maybe I will try to see if I can help.
Yeah,
at least with my children.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
Oh, well, let us know if you need more resources. We have lots of different types of files we can share with you to help you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, this has been an interesting discussion, but we're going to have to take a short pause and go to a commercial break, but we will be with you all after the break.
Right now, you might be struggling through your classes or even failing them. You might be worried that you may not finish high school. There might have even been a thought that you may not be smart enough. Well, the New Heights Educational Group begs to differ. We not only think you are smart enough, but with our help, you will complete your high school diploma. The New Heights Educational Group strives to improve your academic success through its tutoring services. To learn more, please visit newheightseducation.org and contact us. New Heights Educational Group, educational resources to help reach your goals.
This podcast is brought to you by Silicon Valley High School, the world's fastest growing, video-based, self-paced, teacher-supported, fully accredited online school that's recommended by more than 96% of students. Take individual courses at just $95 each, or earn your high school diploma at any age. Check us out at svhs.co.
Welcome back. This is your host, Buffy Williams, and you're listening to the New Heights Educational Group, the New Heights Show on Education. And tonight's discussion is a roundtable discussion regarding updating curriculum and different approaches. We have with us Wendy from Wendy by Wet Paint by Wendy. And yes, Wet Paint by Wendy is a tongue twister. Wet Paint by Wendy. And we also have Jill Steinbach and a homeschool mom with us from Hip Hop Health Program, Heart Health Program. So thank you all for joining us. And we were in a discussion about how physical education has been incorporated around the world. And Hamsachu was pointing out that they have different aspects of physical education, but not really in the realm of dealing with art education in the way that you do, Wendy, in abstract art, and thinking about how it activates the left and right brain of the child as they're integrated into their academic setting. And then definitely the way that Jill, the way that you all do it with hip hop, healthy heart, and incorporating kind of the mind, body, soul aspect, right? It's the mindfulness piece, yes, and incorporating nutrition and heart health and even the financial matters. So I think that that's a great curriculum, and it has 8 modules, correct, total. So yes. Wendy, tell us a little bit more about your abstract art.
Well, I kind of laugh sometimes because I used to dislike it a lot, and I never really understood it. It was not a tree, a flower. It just was blah. So, and it was one day as I was looking into things, I came across someone doing acrylic pour painting, and it was rather fascinating. And long story short, I delved right into it, and it has totally opened up a whole new area in the art world and in life. And I needed it at that time because I had severe headaches, actually. I had daily headaches, chronic headaches, and I needed something to focus on and not worry about, is this painted tree good enough? And it was very enabling that way. So as far as acrylic pouring, I think you can certainly focus on the fun aspect, but I think it actually incorporates, without kids even realizing, so many other things. You're learning about color and how they blend. I can always explain how acrylic pouring is. You're learning about the thickness and the thinness of the flow of the paint, and if it's too thin and you blend them, how do the colors turn out? If it's too thick, what happens? How does it dry? As well as some math, because you need to do proportions. So it's paint mixed with a pouring medium, but that pouring medium may be a homemade one with just glue all in water.
Right.
And so it's something you can do at home. So you can't just throw it together. Well, there's a lot of leeway, but you can still, we still need some guidelines roughly. So I think it is learning without realizing you're learning, which is the best way to learn, right?
And that's great for you, right, Vanessa, as a homeschool mom, incorporating the math and the science and the physics or the chemistry of mixing the paints together, right? Totally. And then the mathematic portion.
Yeah, it helps. All along creating art,
Yeah.
It's great. I never, I haven't heard about the brain since, school. Since I was in, middle school. So I never really understood how important, I love art. I was kind of good at art, I guess. But I never realized how important it was. And maybe that's why I liked school when I was growing up, is because I guess my school, we did a lot of art, so it's really nice. In Jill's program, in the Hip Hop Healthy Heart program, it has a ton of materials and different things that you could do. You can do cutting, gluing, coloring, like what we did with our feeling card. We actually, some of them we colored, we cut. So it has all of that in it. And it has the songs in it, so it helps you do many things in one lesson. I just want to go over a few things, how the lessons go and stuff, because I think it's a really nice thing. As a homeschool mom, when I was preparing to homeschool, I was very stressed, how am I going to do this? I'm not in college, I graduated high school and that's about it. And how am I going to teach my daughter, So I did a lot of research, and I was really worried about how is the lessons going to go. And in these lesson plans, it is literally step by step. And you can stand there and it says the teacher, for example, the teacher talks about feelings, and then call on one student to talk about a feeling and how that feeling affects them. So it has a step-by-step program, so you don't have to worry about how do I even start off. And each lesson is 20 to 30 minutes, depending on what you want to add into it. In one of the lessons, or in one of the modules, is a financial module. In there, we learn about running a business and what it takes to start and finish and, build a business. So in that it had the whole lesson plan, and I added to it, I created a art project where we made a burrito stand. We made it out of paper towels and some paper, and we made a sign, and we went outside and tried to sell our burritos. So it was really,
I love that.
Yeah. And that's just, it was over 20 to 30 minutes, and it just kind of happened naturally. Like, I really didn't plan that out. I just went with the flow of what she wanted to do. She was really into, let's make a business and try to earn money, and she went at it. And we went and had that burrito stand. We went out there for like 2 days, and anytime someone ran past our house, we would yell burrito stand, and people would look at us like, what are these crazy people doing?
But Vanessa, you know, as humorous as that is, that's a beautiful example for parents who are just maybe thinking about getting into homeschooling or have come through this COVID-19 or are forced into this situation where they're thinking, okay, well, now I can make homeschooling work for me and my family. It's very encouraging to know that Wendy's program and Jill's program is something that parents can actually do without fear of, can I really do this? Do I really have the skills to be able to do this? This is something I can incorporate within my curriculum at home. And we're talking about updating curriculum, but not necessarily for homeschool. I mean, schools could implement these things too. If, you know, we did have true education reform, we could incorporate things like this within the educational structure. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was a very stressful hoping I'm making the right decision to homeschool, you know, because I was homeschooling before coronavirus, and, you know, it was scary. It was scary to make that decision, you know, but for me, it's ended up, you know, I don't regret it. I love it.
Sounds like it's been a very rewarding experience.
And my kids never missed a day of school.
Right.
You can even teach your kids sick. There's always something to learn.
Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
Hamsachu, what are you thinking about this, both of these curriculums within the Nigerian educational structure of K through 12?
Well, I think they are wonderful, and it's really, really wonderful to, if we can incorporate it into Nigerian education, it will be very good, both for parents and for the children as well. Mm-hmm. Because the only painting, let's say, the arts we have, apart from, like I told you, the modeling and the weaving, the calabash making. I know during the kindergarten, they have books to color, and then when they're introduced to colors, they will be given a paper or a cardboard paper with a paint for them to use with their hands, so that they will get to know the color that they're painting. Let's say if it's red, they'll be given a cardboard paper and some red paint. Yes. And it doesn't matter what they do with that red paint. That day they're just going to get drenched in that red paint. So it's up to them. Yeah. Put their hands on the paper, and they put their hands in the paint, and then put them in the paper, so that they will know this color is red. Yeah. So they can identify it everywhere, wherever they go. Yeah. That's great. And then as they go, let's say as they go to maybe kindergarten 2, that's nursery 2, they can now color books.
Right.
And like pictures, drawings, and usually my kids do that. They bring them home, and I help them with their homework. Then they color some figures, and let's say it's a princess in a castle. It's something fun, because it really, really makes them happy anytime they're dealing with colors. It makes them happy. Yeah. Yeah, and when it comes to physical education, that is what they love best, because just them having fun outside, running, playing ball, and all that. But though I said we don't have a lot of it, but from what we have, it's really fun. And if we can upgrade it, that is updated, it will be much, much better.
That's great. I know that New Heights has so many opportunities, and I'm just glad that Wendy has decided to join us as a partner. And I know that Pamela is excited because this is something new for our parents, and they're definitely going to love it.
I think it's great.
Wendy, you might have got yourself in trouble though today, because now I'm thinking maybe you should be teaching it.
I would go to that class, definitely.
Right, Wendy, how about teaching?
See, your brain is so creative. It's creating new things.
I know. So, Wendy, do you want to add anything? Do you want to add anything as we try to round out the show today?
For myself?
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, who? Just if it's going to be brief, basically, I think just like on your website, New Heights is to help students become more effective learners, and part of that is through art. And when I was looking into it, because I just do it because it's fun and I'm curious about it and I like learning.
Right.
But when you actually look at the science behind it, how important it is and how much extra stuff you're learning, I was blown away. I thought, oh wow, look at that.
Right.
So I think what you guys are doing are great, and thanks for having me.
And can you tell our listeners how to get in contact with you, Wendy, or how to follow you on social media?
Yeah, I am on Facebook, I'm Wet Paint by Wendy. Instagram, Wet Paint by Wendy. And if you want to email me with any questions, it's wetpaintbywendy@gmail.com. And occasionally I'm on Twitter, same handle. But usually the other places are better to catch me.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. What about you, Vanessa? You want to leave us with any final thoughts?
Yes, thank you. It's been like a true pleasure to be on this, so thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yes.
So, just that the Hip Hop Healthy Heart program is a K through 6 curriculum, so you'll have it through the whole elementary grade levels, and so you'll be able to do it as a family. And to all my homeschool moms out there, you guys can do it. We can do this together, okay?
Yeah.
And it's okay. You're not going to mess up.
That's great. Hamsachi, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, just thank you for having me.
Thank you for being
and,
here.
I'm very happy to meet Wendy, and Vanessa too.
Yes. And Pamela, I'll let you close us out. Yeah. Pamela.
Well, thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you. And I want to thank you all for joining us. And it has been truly a pleasure to learn more about abstract art. And definitely, Wendy, I'm going to start following you. I love art. I love integrating art in education. So I'm all in. And I have a grandbaby. So Vanessa, I'm going to definitely try some of those modules for her. So I want to thank you all for joining us on tonight's show. And we hope that you stay safe and stay well. Thank you for joining. We hope that you join us next week. That's our time, and you have been listening to the New Heights Show on Education. I'm your host, Buffy Williams. If you like what you've heard, search for us on your smart speaker and listen to us anytime. Thank you for listening. Good night. Until we meet again next Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we discuss next week's topic. Enjoy expanded content from the New Heights Education Group hosts on Blog Talk, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and Watch No Learn.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget to rate us and follow us on your podcast player. Check out our show page, radio.newheightseducation.org, for monthly announcements and other happenings.